There's got to be something I can do in the real estate space or the entrepreneur space that's going to just be like $1 billion idea from AI.
To see what they're doing with these projects and how it's speeding up the construction phase, lowering costs, it's going to completely revolutionize the construction industry.
All right, today I got one of our sponsors from the Tyke Summit, Justin Smith with Contractor Plus. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Good to have you here.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, bro. How'd you like the event?
Wow. It was absolutely amazing. I didn't really know what to expect. And seeing your ability to fill a room like that, and not just with the speakers, but also the audience, there's so many high-level conversations. And it was just an amazing, impactful 2 days. The speakers, I got to speak with Jamil and his partner, Pace Morby, and the things they're doing. And it's just amazing. And then speaking with Abraham Gray and about business acquisitions and creative financing. And there was such a diverse mix of thinkers and really high level individuals there.
Yeah.
Both the presenters and in the audience. I mean, the room was jam packed and full of energy. And I just, from what I heard, there was a lot of people saying that like your last event was about half of that size. Mm-hmm. And in that short period of time to see it just explode, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, we always try to level it up every single event. I don't know what the final count was, but definitely over 1,000 people were there. The event prior, I think we had about 600 to 700-ish. And then the event prior to that, we had about 300. So we just keep
doubling up every time.
So I guess we're going to have to go 2,000 in Hollywood. For those who don't know, we're going to Hollywood April 4th to the 6th.
Wow.
It's going to be great. But anyways, enough about the event. I want to talk about you and what you guys are doing with Contractor Plus. You came into my office a few months ago and showed me the app and the idea and everything else. And I said, okay, this is pretty cool. I've since then jumped on in an advisory role for the project. But tell people what exactly it is.
So currently the field service, it's an app for contractors, right? And primarily for contractors. I have a background in real estate and property management. So where I discovered the need for the software was working as a property manager. Mm-hmm. And as a property manager, I'm sure we manage properties for real estate investors all over the world. Mm-hmm. We've managed properties for Fred Levy of Nespresso, Kai Olderog of Bridgewater Associates. A lot of our investors aren't even in the United States. And these guys never step foot inside their properties.
Right.
So they need a greater level of transparency when working with contractors. And most of the time, they just don't get it. A lot of contractors are still doing everything on paper, or they're doing things in QuickBooks or another estimating solution that allows them some level of itemization, but there's really no transparency. If they say something needs done here, here, and here, they may itemize it, they may not. Usually they don't. But then you lack photos on a per line item basis. And then when your workers are done with the work, you have to go behind them and take photos again. What we were doing in our company is we would do an itemized estimate and then take a bunch of photos with a digital camera, zip them up, send them to the investor. They would approve it. We'd move the funds out of escrow. We would schedule the work, and it is what it is. Now, they trusted us and there was no issue, but I realized that as a real estate investor, it's really important. If I'm not going to be boots on the ground and actually oversee the projects, I need that level of transparency. So I know that what they say needs done is actually getting done.
Right.
And I know what I'm paying for.
Right.
So that's kind of where Contractor Plus came from. And building on that, we now have a full RESTful API. So for things like work orders. So no other field service management solution out there is really tailoring things towards facilitating the relationships between contractors and property managers.
Right. So would you say that it's useful for only the contractor property manager relationship, or what about if I'm an investor and I'm using something like this for a contractor on a flip or something?
So we have a lot of investors using it. So it's not just useful for contractors. You as the investor could create an account and have your contractors use it. And we do have people doing that. But typically, so it was designed for the contractors.
Right.
And, with integrations with property management, integrations with Appfolio and Buildium and Yardi, being able to pipe in your work orders to the contractors that you work with and have them delegate it, or if you as the property manager are delegating it, or the real estate investor, you can just drag it onto the schedule, assign a team member, they get a notification, they know where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to be doing, and there's full accountability.
Got it. So how did you even get into the tech space?
Wow. So 13 years old, I started a dial-up internet service provider. My parents took out a HELOC and gave me the funds to start the ISP. It was called Verta.net. And we sent out, back in the day, we didn't have Gmail and everything. So if you sent 40 million emails to American consumers, a very sizable portion of that audience received your email.
Right.
And so that's what we did. We rented a mail server and we sent a bunch of spam. And we got like 300 customers. And I had to leave public school and went to homeschooling and through the internet, and just to facilitate the customer service. And it's funny because my good friend Brandon Schlichter over at Investment Joy, he was there through all of that, and I got to witness that and even helped facilitate that. We had to make a little auto dialer out of C++. And back in the day, I don't know, how old are you?
33.
So yeah, you remember when dial-up came out.
Yeah.
So back in the day, you used to configure your internet settings, your internet connection inside of Internet Explorer.
Yep.
So you go to internet properties, go down to connections, and you would add it there. And you would, once it would connect, you would hear.
I don't know if I just used AOL.
Yeah. I mean, it's still dial-up.
Yeah.
That's just like a user interface that made dial-up a little bit more user-friendly.
Exactly.
So that's what we essentially did, was we built an auto dialer, and we connected a pool of hard-coded accounts that we owned. So it could connect to a temporary account, provision your internet settings, download it to the computer, the config file, configure the internet properties, and then drop the connection and connect to yours once you've set up your billing agreement.
Right.
So that was really my entrance into tech. When everyone else was like hanging out and pursuing girlfriends and everything, I was just focused on computers and internet.
So you've always been a nerd.
A nerd and an entrepreneur.
Those are the richest entrepreneurs.
Yeah. It's definitely high risk, high reward, and I'm always kind of all in.
Right.
But it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. So you got into doing that. How old are you now?
36.
36. Okay. And then what happened after dial-up?
Oh, so we had like a year, maybe a year and a half run.
Yeah.
DSL came and put us out.
Yep.
After that, I started building computers. I got into the hardware side of things and building websites.
Right.
I started building, I built a website for the paintball field I played at. I used to play semi-professional paintball. And so built a website for the team and the field that I played at. And the company that sponsored the pro shop at that field, it was an indoor field in Ohio. It gets really cold in the winter. It was owned by a company called Action Fanatics out of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And the CEO of that company was Jeff Lizick. And I get a call. I was working nights at Office Max stocking shelves. And I get a call, my phone rings, and he says, "You don't know who I am, but my company supplies the pro shop at the field you play at. And the website you built is absolutely crazy." He said, "I need you to come to Pittsburgh immediately. Quit your job. You work for me now." So I think I was 16, just turned 17. Went to Pittsburgh the next day and met Jeff and his wife and his whole team at their 3 locations. And over the next 3 months or so, I completely revamped their whole website, moved to a new e-commerce platform called Infopia. And soon after that, they had an acquisition offer from Key Action Sports. And interesting enough, out of all of his staff, they wanted 2 people through that acquisition, Jeff and me. So instead of accepting their offer, it was a low offer. It was less than what I was making working for Jeff.
Right.
I decided to move to Orlando and go to college. So probably not the smartest decision, but I don't regret it.
Right. And how did all this just eventually lead to apps and Or are
Wow.
you just doing a bunch of other tech things along the way?
Yeah, I've done a lot. So I was in the SEO game for a long time. I had a little SEO company that got acquired by the president of webdev.com.
Okay.
They built websites for Nike and Wells Fargo and JetBlue and a lot of big, credible brands. And we're still really good friends to this day. So mostly on the web and front end side of things as a front end developer. And anytime I've had an idea for something that I couldn't develop myself, I would go to websites like Fiverr. I think I was one of Fiverr's first users in like 2009.
Fiverr's been around that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
2009 I had a Fiverr account.
They've only gotten popular in like the last 5 years, I feel like.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the, I think they call us VIDs, very important doers. Basically, you spend a lot of money on Fiverr.
Wow.
And they put you in the top category.
I can't believe that they've been around that long.
Yeah, long time. They're actually based out of Tel Aviv in New York.
Is Upwork, who was first, Upwork or Fiverr?
Well, Upwork acquired Odesk. Odesk existed before Fiverr, if I recall. But then they rebranded through that acquisition. Now it's all Upwork. And of course, we use every now and then we'll still sub something out. I prefer to be able to control it all internally.
Right.
That's really important once you get your systems and your processes in place, that you can kind of oversee the whole thing, and you need a greater level of control. And it's impossible to build a team and to build a culture that's going to facilitate longevity with your brand if you're always subbing everything out. So
yeah,
I met my CTO, Roshan Sethia, through Fiverr.
He's a guy you just hired on Fiverr, and you're like, I like this guy.
Yeah. So I had to build an algorithm for determining which keywords you could rank for and how much we should charge for those keywords. So we created, you remember Dollar Shave Club?
Yeah.
So we basically knocked off Dollar Shave Club and made Dollar SEO Club.
Okay.
And starting at $1 per keyword per month. And we made an algorithm to determine how much we should charge per keyword per month based on a number of weighted factors. And of course, the SEO game has changed a lot over the years. But now it would be based on page authority and your page rank and your domain authority and a number of other internal and external factors.
How do you think Chat GPT is changing the game?
Oh my goodness!
Because that's like eliminating SEO. People are going to use that instead of Google.
It's eliminating a lot. So there was a kid recently that asked Chat GPT to break down and itemize a list of how to perform open heart surgery, and it gave him really good instructions. I mean, like freakishly good instructions. And so I got really curious, signed up for OpenAI, and started playing around with their API. Now their most advanced algorithm and data set is from like 2017. So they're working on a more updated and current data set, which will be great. And it's supposed to come out in the next few months.
Oh my gosh, that's a wrap.
So have you ever read Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity?
No.
So Ray Kurzweil invented the CMOS sensor for the Xerox. And he also wrote a book called How to Create a Mind. And they break down how the human brain compartmentalizes and studies, recognizes and learns in patterns. So even things like using the alphabet, he uses a great example in the book, breaks down the letters of the alphabet and shows us how we actually retain that and commit that into our memory. And that's the basis for what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink. It's basically being able to plug into our memory and expand it. So it's like, what percentage cyborg do you want to be? And a lot of people in this science community believe that the first person to live to 200 is already alive.
Really?
3D printing bioidentical organs.
But they're not 200 yet.
No.
But they think that
the first person that will.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of these tech billionaires are now they're taking
because they want to live. They want to be immortal.
Exactly. So all of
every
these
rich guy's thing in a movie ever.
It's not my goal. I believe in heaven and hell personally. Yep. So I'm not trying to live forever.
Yep.
But
I think heaven's going to be a lot better than earth. That's for sure.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is a crazy thought to think about, that if 200 became like the target, because like I'm 33 right now, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I always thought like 70s that's probably the average at this point, right? Somewhere in your 70s.
Yeah, I think so for a male. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, I'm like already halfway through my life at this point. But to think 200, I'd be like 20% or 25% of my life. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. So the singularity, basically the premise of that book is the point in human innovation the amount of innovation that happens in 1 year. When we reach the point, I guess from when the book was written, when we reach the point where the amount of innovation that happens in 1 year happens in 1 day, we have reached the singularity. And I believe based on Ray Kurzweil's projections, I would be in my 70s when that happens. But it's pretty wild to think that, of course, they can't do it legally here in the United States right now, but that they can 3D print bioidentical organs. And I don't know that they've done a successful transplant or anything like that, but not having to grow them on, in pigs or source them from donors, that's going to revolutionize the medical industry. And it's crazy to think of. And now Chat GPT, seeing what it's capable of. So like inside of Contractor Plus, we're building our AI as well. So not only is AI a great source of non-dilutive fundraising for us, because we have the SBIR, there's through the NSF, there's all kinds of government grants for companies that are building out AI.
What is SBIR?
The small business
something research, probably.
I should know. Yeah. So
Institute of Research.
It's something like that. Yeah. So we have already applied through the phase 1, got accepted for the pitch.
Okay.
So we get through that. So for startups that are building AI and high tech, you can potentially qualify for $280,000 in the first round, and then up to $1 million on the back end. And it's non-dilutive. So it's money you don't have to pay back. You don't have to give up equity. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
Chat GPT is just crazy. So for us, one thing we're doing with AI internally using Chat GPT is we can actually ask Chat GPT, which materials do I need to build a deck? And it'll give us an exact list of materials that we need to build a deck. Now I can say, give me exact brand names from the Home Depot for building this deck. It'll give me that list of materials. Then I can say, if my deck is 6 feet by 10 feet, how much of these materials do I need? And it'll give me exact calculations of how much I should need.
Right.
And looking at the numbers that it spits out, it's pretty accurate. It's freakishly accurate. It's insane. So now the next logical step for us is, currently it takes a couple of hours to put a fully itemized estimate together for building a deck, unless you have a template saved or whatever. So you can ask the AI to do it for you in 3 seconds. And then you can import that punch list as line items on an estimate in another 3 seconds. And you don't have to write anything. It does it for you. So just think of how that's just a very small example of how it can revolutionize the skilled trades tech market. Just think of how it's going to change the world at large. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I've always wondered this. You mentioned it too. You're like, we're going to utilize AI in Contractor Plus. And I'm thinking, whenever I hear this from companies, like, what does that even mean? Like, are you having to go build some complex thing, or are you just simply, like you said, taking Chat GPT and like just somehow using an API to put in your system, and that's how it does it?
So how it would work, to break it down so in simple terms, so it's both. So we have to base it off of Chat GPT's API.
Yep.
So then we're going to query the API and their endpoints and get back the data we need. And then we have to build our own internal systems to plug that data into our system so it's usable. A lot of the actions, a lot of the responses we get, we have to still process internally how we're going to distribute and use that data. So it's both. It's a pretty involved process.
So would the user just be searching something and Chat GPT is powering it?
You could do it a number of ways. So you could do it based on user intent. So based on the user's behavior, they start typing a line item. We can automatically in the background, we're not telling the user or showing the user that we're doing this, but in the background, we query the Chat GPT API for their relative search or title of that task, and we can bring in recommended materials.
Okay.
For example, that's just one example. And then on the flip side, you could also have an in-app chatbot, the contractor's assistant,
Okay.
where they can ask it anything related to skilled trades.
And that's just literally Chat GPT.
No, it's a combination.
Okay.
So it's Chat GPT plus, if you tell it to instruct it to do something internally, it can have a list of commands. It's kind of like, have you played around with the image generation?
Yeah, I've seen that where they can just
Midjourney,
generate
Midjourney AI.
or isn't it called Dolly or something?
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Midjourney is like the craziest I've seen.
Okay.
I asked it to make a picture of Mark Zuckerberg wearing a crown with a nuclear bomb going off in the background, and it did it in 3 seconds. I mean, I was just coming up with examples. I asked it to make a picture of Donald Trump wearing a hard hat.
I feel like this has been out for a while, but people are now realizing what's available.
It has.
Yeah.
It has for sure.
Hey, if you're looking to grow your real estate investing business, whether you're just getting started trying to get your first deal or you're trying to scale and get to the next level, you need to join us at Wealthy Investor. We've got events every single quarter that are absolutely crazy. We've got online coaching programs where we have Zoom calls, a community every single week. We give you everything you need to know to start your business, scripts, processes, SOPs, all of it. It's for you so that you can dominate. So if you want to learn more about how to join our community and be mentored by me and some of our top coaches and be around other students who are absolutely crushing it, go to wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a free call with my team. Once again, wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a call today. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the smartest business decision I've ever made was creating content. Ever since then, my businesses have skyrocketed, not only because we get a lot of views and we're able to turn those views into leads, which then turn into dollars, but it's also led to a ton of different business opportunities, investors, and also it's allowed me to hire A+ employees, all because I made the decision to create content. Now, here's the thing, most people have no idea where to begin. That changes with Wealthy Creator. Wealthy Creator is my coaching program for entrepreneurs who want to grow their personal brand on social media. And if you're listening to this, that's probably you. You probably realize you should be creating a podcast just like this one and developing your personal brand. We can help you. We have coaching programs, mentorships. In fact, we can even edit your content for you and run your social media account. It's absolutely crazy. So if you want to learn more about it, go to wealthycreator.io. You can book a free call with my team. So once again, that's wealthycreator.io. Start creating content today, building that brand, and I promise you it'll be the best investment you ever make.
They say this year they will be able to produce a feature film using AI.
Oh, it's crazy.
If it can produce images already, all a film is a bunch of images put together in sequence.
Imagine if, and this probably will happen, Chat GPT will write the script and, some other thing will make the video and some other thing will make the voice. And then you could create a movie for like such little money compared to anything else.
It's scary. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's hard to, I still can't fathom what that's going to look like. Sometimes the image generation is not what you anticipated.
Right.
But I could
it'll
give
get
it a
better.
picture. Yeah, I could give it a picture of you and I could say, cartoonize this picture. Something that would take me 20 minutes to do really good in Photoshop, I can do in under a minute and I don't have to do anything. And it does it really well.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, man, I mean, you're a tech guy. How would I personally start to use AI in my business better? What do you think?
Oh man. So I would have people in your team generating talking points because you can do it in a few minutes.
Okay.
You can get the summary of books. So if you don't want to read a whole book, just, if you need the premise of it, you can get it summarized in a couple of seconds.
This is bad for Cliff Notes and high school kids.
Well, so it's written like a thesis and graded itself. It can do, it's pretty powerful. So there's a lot of things that it could do for your business. Are you using it at all right now?
I've just messed with Chat GPT on different things and I'm like, this is crazy, but I've totally not like played with it enough to understand its full capabilities.
So what I did was I came up with a doc of ideas that I have for our own internal AI. And there's a couple different things that I see us doing that's going to benefit our customers tremendously. But then I also made a contest amongst our team. And I said, whoever comes up with the best idea that we end up implementing from the Chat GPT API, I'll add $1,000 to your next paycheck. And I did that just as a way to get them thinking and also reward them for braining innovative ideas that's going to help push our product further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have my tech team just start looking into it.
I'm sure they're already playing with it.
No, I know they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I mean, we've created our own NFTs and marketplaces and like apps, and we've done a lot in tech. But I have not even thought to ask them to this point because we've been so busy with things of being like, hey guys, all right, go have fun and tell me the results. And we're probably going to make a new company from it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be something I can do in the real estate space or the entrepreneur space that's going to just be like $1 billion idea from AI. You think?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. You guys heard it here first. I'm going to do it.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. I got nothing better to do. So what do you see the future going then with AI? Like where's this going? Because, Elon and these guys are super scared.
Elon's been issuing like warnings. So they've been
You've been saying it forever, but now people are starting to finally see it and like, oh, dang.
He knows better than most,
Yeah.
I would say, with Neuralink and autonomous vehicles and everything he's deeply involved with, and of course, space exploration. So he's definitely at the forefront of the AI game, and he has toured the factories and he's explored the different AIs that are going on, and he says we have reason to be concerned. So I think we should probably take heed to that.
Yeah,
for sure.
So what do you predict?
So AI, because of machine learning, it's self-learning. So the thing is, though, you can set hard limits. You can set caps, and you can say programmatically, you cannot go past this line in the sand. So the question is, not everyone has the best of intentions. So if it were to be used with malicious intent, the more accessible it gets to the general public and the more powerful it gets, if someone has malicious intent, then they could program it to do some really bad stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with guns today, where it's just like, yeah, I mean, depending on how you utilize it is how it is. But it seems
I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. Without the second, we won't have the first.
I can tell from your southern drawl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, no, I have guns too. And it's just like, but Chat GPT, like you said, is way more accessible, and it seems like it can cause even more damage than.
Well, and what if you didn't even have malicious intent, right? What if
accident?
What if you just programmed it to its self-learning and you didn't put those hard limits in place, and it taught itself to do something and acted in a way that created a catastrophe?
Right.
I mean, it's possible.
That's the movie stuff.
It's not just possible. I think it's probable.
Yeah.
It very well could happen. I think we should be probably thinking about that a lot more now before we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we're already at that point and we don't know it.
Well, they say tech moves so fast that you just can't even comprehend, like,
especially when it's writing its own code.
Yeah.
So that is expanding upon itself. It's going to be interesting to see what comes from it.
Yeah.
I know from like an internet and a marketing standpoint. So our content strategy is almost 100% automated.
Okay.
And we are gaining a lot of rankings, very inexpensively and very quickly. So we have AI that it studies our website and studies a bunch of external APIs like SEMrush and other things, and tells us, well, this is your domain authority and this is where you rank comparatively to your competition. And this is the list of keywords that all of your competitors are ranking for already. And of that list, these are the keywords that you can rank for. Then we just take those keywords and go plug it into content@scale.ai. And it generates a 2,000 to 3,000 word article using answer graph and all kinds of stuff. So you're ranking for questions, like when people type questions. So you start ranking when people start typing in Google, you're ranking for those keywords. And all you have to do is put it on your blog. Don't use rank math and other things that we've predominantly used, like through WordPress and other content management systems. Don't use those anymore. Now there's AI that's way better.
Right.
So you use on-page.ai
Mm-hmm.
for all the on-page optimization, and you're guaranteed to rank right out of the gate. As soon
Right.
as you get indexed, it's ranking.
Mm.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's unbelievable. And you can't tell a human didn't write the article. If you run it through Google's NLP scan, it can't tell anything. It isn't. It's just unbelievable. It looks like a native copywriter in the U.S. wrote that article.
To me, it seems like you have to show me how you do that after
Yeah.
this. It seems like Google probably has the most to lose with all this stuff.
Well, they're really scared right now.
Oh yeah.
Their CEO just instructed their top engineers to stop working what they're stop working on what they're currently working on, and start building out AI.
Yeah.
They're definitely threatened by Chat GPT.
Yeah. It's the first threat they've had ever.
I'm kind of surprised they're just now getting, or maybe we're just now hearing of it, but I'm kind of surprised they're just now catching on to that.
Yeah. You knew people were working on these things.
They had to have.
Yeah.
For sure.
They
had to have.
Isn't OpenAI isn't the whole point? It's like open source and like all these people are just backing it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's open. So you're paying for API calls or for usage. So the more you use it, the more you're going to spend to get to access it. You're really just paying for processing power. I think I just read somewhere that it's hundreds of millions of dollars a day in processing power.
Really?
Yes, it's a lot. So
wow. They got to make some money.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, because think about it. They could sell it as a subscription easily.
Yeah, that's what they're just not charging on the front end for the subscription. They're just charging for usage. So just like a normal API would charge on a per call basis, or for like a block of calls, or
got it.
Whatever. That's how they're charging.
So, I mean, you didn't answer that. I mean, besides catastrophe, like how fast does this thing happen? Where do you think it's going?
I think in the next 5 years, it's going to be a radically different world. And I think if you're a tech company and you're not building upon this right now, you're going to get left in the dust. So you have to, and that's why Google recognized that and pivoted and said, let's do something in this area now, or else we're not going to stay relevant. So it's going to change business a lot. It's probably going to eliminate a lot of jobs, or at least it's going to change the landscape of employment. Like we're going to see a lot of unskilled jobs going away,
right?
And we're going to see a lot of skilled jobs being created. So tech, we'll never lose jobs, I think, in like the medical industry and probably the legal industry, just for legal reasons. But we will definitely see unskilled labor, minimum wage jobs. All of that stuff can be automated with robotics. And as that stuff becomes more affordable and more accessible, we're going to see more and more jobs going away. I mean, we already see it at the checkout lanes.
Yeah.
It used to be all lines, and now it's mostly self-checkout. So, but who wants to stand at a register for $15 an hour? Or maybe less in some states.
Yeah.
You can't pay your bills on $15 an hour.
No.
So it's very difficult.
Well, it's like, it's an interesting thing because people have been worried about tech taking jobs for a very long time, right? And yet it seems like there's more jobs than ever, right? Because it seems like tech is making more opportunities, right? And so it's like, I think AI will create different opportunities for jobs that didn't exist prior. And I did see, though, that OpenAI was funding like a UBI like research. Did you see that?
I didn't.
Yeah, because I think they're concerned about people not having jobs either and just trying to figure out what are these people going to do.
Well, there's going to be more cybersecurity jobs. There's going to be way more tech jobs in general. And I think it gives people an incentive, to push and push themselves and learn in an area where they can earn more money for their family versus not having any ambitions to earn. So, and if you don't, then I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm not an expert in that area, but right. I don't know what to predict. I think there's going to be good and bad that comes with it, as with anything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, my prediction is, I mean, you were at the Tykes Summit, and so that was for anyone listening who didn't go. It was an event for my Tykes NFT projects, what the sweater I'm wearing is, and really our mission is to pioneer the future of real estate. And so I brought on people that are doing good things in real estate today, and I brought in experts of AI and crypto and blockchain and tech and other things that are coming tomorrow. We even talked about how real estate's going to be built in the future. And I think that the world of real estate is going to be drastically different in 5 to 10 years because of tech. And I want to
cool is it that you are at where the seed was planted for real estate and Web3? To see all of these interesting people come together at this event. I mean, there wasn't an empty seat.
Yep.
And there was so much energy there, and everyone was just so brilliant, and there's so many different ideas being exchanged. Like, if you were not there, you missed out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. So I'm trying to pioneer the industry because I believe in tech, and I'm passionate about it too. So where do you see, with Contractor Plus, you guys are an app to make the lives of, basically construction easier. How do you see real estate being different with tech and construction?
Well, so real estate being different with tech and construction.
The construction side
Everything
of real
contractors
estate,
do impacts real estate.
Right.
Contractors are working on buildings. They're working on not just buildings, but they're working on residential and commercial real estate. And so there's so many, if you look at the impact circle of, the impact radius of everyone who's really impacted by contractors and skilled trades, it's their clients, which could be realtors, real estate investors, real estate agents, property managers, other contractors. So there's hundreds of categories of contractors. Mm-hmm. You've got your large project managers, GCs, home builders, master developers, and they're typically the ones that build these buildings.
Yeah.
And they don't actually physically do the work. And in more cases, more often than not, they're not the ones that have the teams that do the work either. Instead, they manage subcontractor relationships with SMBs, mm-hmm. with the artisans and the small companies who are actually out there doing the work. So you've got your field service companies who are actually facilitating this stuff, and you've got your GCs who are really managing this stuff. And currently, on both ends of the market, these companies are being forced to use 5-6 different pieces of software to manage everything, and nothing is bridging the way they do business together, the way they collaborate. So I'm talking about network effects. If you can facilitate the way people work with one another, the way they hire, the way they manage, they delegate, they pay, they get paid, they collaborate, then you connect people together in a way that saves them time, makes them more efficient, and just makes more sense. So when you're not just focused on solving problems for contractors, but also focusing on addressing the problems at large with how they work and interact with real people involved in real estate, mm-hmm. Then you're not just improving the operations for contractors, you're also improving real estate as well.
Right.
So I think facilitating deeper level integrations with existing prop tech solutions is going to be critical for us, and because no one's done it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about what we presented on at the event with 3D printing and prefab homes and everything?
It's unbelievable to see what they're doing with these projects and how it's speeding up the construction phase, lowering costs. It's just crazy. It's going to completely revolutionize the construction industry.
Right. I've always said that. I'm like, why do we still build homes the same way we did 100 years ago? It's crazy. Why does it take 2 years to go build a home?
Because you get something that works, and then you get the whole prefab model, and it's like, it works, it's cost efficient. There's no reason why we should change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Well, just like I'm talking normal framing, and just like that model takes a while. Prefab's a bit of an innovation, right? And you can go build it while you're working on other stuff. And so you go get this house already built while you're in escrow or whatever the case is. And then 3D printing's a whole different beast where the thing can go get built in a couple of days.
It's crazy. to see these large scale 3D industrial 3D printers that are printing walls, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Printing entire structures.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, 3D printing's a really interesting industry.
Yeah.
For sure.
I remember when I was first hearing about it, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but it's still not mainstream for what it is.
No, it has a ways to go.
Yeah.
But they are using it on large scale projects. It's being used very frequently.
And imagine once the cost of that gets cheaper, it's faster.
Right. Faster, better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More sustainable, better material.
Yeah. It's all around better.
It's just better. Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch, man. You never know. We might be owning a 3D printing company one of these days. You never know.
Wealthy 3D printing.
Wealthy homes. We only do 3D printing. You never know.
I love it. Wealthy homes.
Yeah. So
is that going to be the Homes brand?
I'm going to have to go buy the domain before I release this.
You better go get it now.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get the domain. But yeah, I mean, back to Contractor Plus. So this is what you're working on these days, and you guys are raising money for it, right?
Yeah, we are. We want to be we don't want to raise a lot of money.
Okay.
We haven't needed any money to date. We've bootstrapped to beta. Now we have 20,000 users.
Wow.
I think the last time we spoke, we were at like 18,000.
Yep.
We're gaining momentum. We still haven't spent at all on customer acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all organic growth. And it's just interesting because we built this for property management companies managing contractors, and we build it for your smaller artisans and SMBs, the field service companies, your plumbers, electricians, handyman companies. We have a lot of landscapers using it.
Yeah.
And we didn't anticipate this, but we have so many builders and very large GCs. I mean, we have a builder that's doing $100 million a year using the platform. And
isn't it free right now?
So we have a free plan.
Yep.
We actually today we are changing our pricing model.
Okay. What's it? So what is it?
So we have a free for life for one user. It's pretty limited, but we let you do estimating, invoicing, everything you would need as a solopreneur. And then we have Pro at $29 per user per month.
Okay.
And then if you need third-party integrations, our RESTful API, our Zapier integration.
Yeah.
If you need that level of access, then we have Ultimate at $49 per user per month.
Got it.
And this is still 200% cheaper than the nearest or the closest truly competing solution.
So would this be like competing with Builder Trend and stuff like that?
This year, by the end of the second quarter, yes.
Got it.
Currently, so what they have that we don't is Gantt charts. Now, if you talk to builders that are using Builder Trend, a lot of them have quite a bit of complaints about how the projects and phases are being managed.
Uh-huh.
And
I've just heard it's difficult to use. That's why we've never used it.
It's clunky. It looks like it was made in 2001. It's just, they haven't really innovated. But what they have done is they've acquired Co-Construct.
Got it.
And Co-Construct is a little more user-friendly. It's, I mean, I can see why they made that acquisition for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still not addressing things on the network level. It doesn't solve all of their problems. They're still having to use 3 or 4 other pieces of software to get the job done. They're still doing a lot of stuff in Excel, manual processes. They have to call people physically and update them when things change on a job. There's just so much room for innovation there that they haven't done. And I think when a company gets so big and you raise a lot of outside capital, you bring other interests to the table, it loses its like that passion that the creators and the co-founders has. A lot of times that kind of goes away. And I think we've seen that with Service Titan as well on the field service management side of things. They've raised over $1 billion in funding.
Wow.
But they're a dinosaur. So they solve a lot of problems really well, some that we don't even solve yet. But at some point, you get so big, it becomes very difficult to change directions.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a small business, you're scrappy. You can move and pivot way faster than a large corporation.
The one advantage we have over everyone else right now is that we are listening to our customers very intimately. And if they can show us why something needs to be different to make their lives easier and it makes sense,
Right.
we're going to get it done quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you look at our reviews, just go to the App Store and like look at our reviews, you're going to see all of these customer testimonials just ranting and raving about our customer service and about our product and about how far we've came over a short period of time. It feels so good to see that.
Right.
It gives me a sense of purpose, and I feel really good about what I'm doing. I couldn't imagine exiting. I couldn't imagine selling this business. Now when we started the company, I had a totally different mindset. I planned on going the traditional Silicon Valley route. We set up the Delaware C Corp. We did everything by the book and planned on raising funds from VCs and exiting in 5 to 7.
Right.
But now I'm like, well, I have a pretty intimate relationship with our customers, and I feel really good about what we're doing, and seeing it impact their business and restoring some of their work-life balance and fixing problems that no one's been able to solve for them. Right. That feels good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wake up in the morning and go to the gym and come back and start working and feel good about what I'm doing.
That's how I feel about my businesses. I want to build them to sell, but I just love doing business. So like, why would I do that?
It's so hard. I mean, at some point we all have to retire, right?
I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to. So you just move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, right.
It would be very hard to me. I'm like married to the company. It would be so hard for me to sell it. We've had offers already, and none that I'm willing to entertain.
Right.
So because we're not there yet, and I see like we're not. The vision that's unfolding, I couldn't walk away from it until it's actually happened. Until I brought it to life.
Right.
And
what's the vision?
So the vision is uniting contractors at both ends of the spectrum. So you've got your builders and GCs and master developers over here. You've got your SMBs over here. All of their solutions are currently siloed, and we're fixing that. So we're solving all of their problems within the organizational unit at both ends of the market. It's really two separate software markets. So we're solving all of their problems and then facilitating the way they network and do business. So whether that's in-network referrals based on ratings or based on what they're willing to pay for referrals. So now as a contractor, if I'm a drywall contractor and I'm out there doing a drywall job and my client says, hey, do you know any painters? Well, currently I would just say, yeah, I know a guy. I know Pete. Pete's painting. He can take care of you. Right. Well, instead of doing that, there's no financial incentive for me to do that. I might be helping out my buddy, but I'm not gaining anything. So now I can just go to network, and then I can type in painting. It's going to search from a radius of where I'm at. And I can see I can sort by rating, or I can sort by the amount of they're willing to pay for a referral. So now we build an affiliate program for contractors to send referrals to one another. Now, if Dave's Drywall Company refers a client to Pete's Painting and Pete's Painting's willing to pay 10%, when they send the estimate that gets approved by the client, it's all tracked inside the same system. So now Dave's Drywall, Dave gets, if it's a $7,500 job, he just made $750 for simply referring somebody. Yep. So now not only are we helping contractors save time, improve we're improving bid consistency across the board. So we're standardizing the way they bid to save them time, make them more profitable, show them how they can make more money on jobs. Education is a big part of this too. A lot of contractors really don't have the business acumen. They're really good at what they do, but they suck
can swing
at
a
business.
hammer.
They can swing a hammer, but that's about it. And I was talking to one of our advisors, Robert Posey, and he's in with the roofing.com crowd, runs their Revolt program, and Hunter Blue and Robert, what they're doing over there is just phenomenal. And we're grateful to have Robert on our team as well. But so I was talking to Robert about how we could improve user retention and activation, but also start to help educate our users and create a sense of community. Right. So one thing we're implementing is a roundtable, and we're going to call it the Millionaire Contractor Masterclass, where we're giving the first module away totally free, and it's super impactful. Gives them the fundamentals on what they need to do to get their business in shape. We're bringing in other thought leaders in the construction space.
Right.
People who have courses and people who have community already, and letting them teach lessons and modules inside of our program. And so I think by creating that community and get kind of like what you're doing, you're educating people, you're giving people who otherwise wouldn't really know the way, you're giving them the way, and you're giving them the support. And I got to witness that firsthand at your event yesterday, the amount of lives that you've impacted. Like, dude, that's got to feel really good.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think any company right now, you need to be creating. Absolutely, you need to be creating. As a founder, you need to be creating. As a company, you need to be creating. And you also need to be giving back and adding value in more ways than just giving people the systems to run their business. You have to be training them on how to run their business and how to become more profitable and how to grow, how to scale. So
I love it. Well, bro, I love what you guys are doing over there. I love talking to people about tech. There's not many people that understand the game and what's going on. They can just get it on the App Store, right? Contractor Plus.
Yeah, it's totally free. You can download it on the App Store on either Android or iOS. It's full SaaS, so you can access it on our website, contractorplus.app.
Cool. Sounds good, man. So go check it out if you're a contractor. And Justin, been good hanging out with you, man.
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing
likewise.
more of you, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this one. We'll see you later. Peace. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Thanks for making it to the end. The good news is I've got another one that I know you're going to like, and all you got to do is click it right here, linking it right here. All you got to do is just click it, and you're going to see this new episode that you're going to love.